I want to say something because today we hear people making statements like that the United States government currently is acting like Nazis or something to that extent. But the reality is that the Nazis had nothing on the U.S. and certainly it had nothing on forces like England. And what has happened as a consequence of the Second Imperialist War is we have come to understand in the world that the worst crime in the world has been committed against white people by other white people. And that is the murder of the Jews that happened in Europe, in particular in Germany, has been characterized as the worst atrocity in human history. In fact, it was so serious that up until the Second Imperialist War, the 1940s, there was no such term as genocide. The term of genocide was something that was created to define what Hitler had done to the Jews. That's an extraordinary thing, given the history of the rise of imperialism in the world, the history of the rise of capitalism in the world, that saw Leopold from Belgium kill from 10 to 20 million Africans in the Congo alone. Given the fact that when Columbus came, when he first landed in Haiti, there were 8 million Indians there. 4 years later, there were only 3 million Indians left. Given the fact that when white people first came to the Americas, there were more Indians in the Americas than there were white people in Europe. There were an estimated 100 million Indians in the Americas and only an estimated 70 million white people in Europe. But by the 1880s, that population of the indigenous people had been reduced by 98%. But even with all of that reality, we have this thing that there was no such word as genocide until white people killed white people as they did in Germany and the rest of Europe. And so here we have this thing that they said this war was fought for democracy, to deal with the Nazis who were killing Jews. And of course, Hitler has become the greatest criminal in all human history. Well, if the truth would be told, what they would have to say is that Churchill made Hitler look like a Boy Scout, because Churchill and the British bragged about the fact that they constituted an empire upon which the sun never set, which meant that from their perspective, they were bragging about the fact that they had more slaves than anybody on the planet Earth. But what Hitler did, that was the criminal act, was he treated white people the way the white world were treating Africans and Indians and everybody else around the world. And this was the thing that was an unpardonable act by Hitler. And that means to me that this whole concept of Nazism and fascism cannot be used as a criteria to talk to me about democracy. Because if you want to find somebody who has committed crimes against the peoples of the world, you don't have to go to Hitler. You can start with Columbus and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and the rest of them as far as African and other oppressed peoples are concerned. This is the reality that we really need to understand.